Welcome to Keeping It Real with Anna and Paul. My name is Anna. It's funny if it was the opposite.
And I'm Paul.
It'd be funny if that was the opposite. So today's subject, because we're just going to do fire, questions and whatever. It's going to be how girls want you to text them, because I have seen there's an issue with this. So you know me,
There is.
I love to give back to the community. And so I'm going to be super helpful with this. So let's start at the very beginning. Let's start when you meet the person. We're going to talk about online versus in person. Okay. I want to help everyone out. So let's start with online. Let's start with the dating app. So we're on a dating app. Let's just say we're on match.com. I'm not going to say Tinder, but we're going to keep it classy because this show can be classy at times. Okay. So we're going to start with match.com. How do you transition from an online dating app where you're messaging that person, so it's a safe ground because you guys don't really have each other's personal information, to going to the cell phone? Like what are ways that you would, and you have done this, Paul?
Well, my biggest thing is figuring out exactly what the rapport is that we have built up. How much information was gathered on the dating apps or whichever app you're using, and really just kind of go from there. And I mean, it's really just gradual and not just rushing, right into things. And because I think a lot of people will, they don't read the room. They don't understand the rapport that they have with the person that they are trying to connect with. And when you don't, read those signs and pick up on that, you'll rush. And rushing is probably the worst thing you can do.
One thing that you guys will always hear me preach, I don't do cookie cutter dating. I don't do cookie cutter relationships. One size does not fit all. You kind of need to learn about that person, because for instance, if you're talking to someone, okay, we're on a dating app right now. We're talking to someone, maybe they're, attractive or whatnot. Maybe they're more attractive than the rest of, I'm going to be real, okay? Maybe they're more attractive than the rest of, a lot of people. You got to kind of, I wouldn't say think of it as a competition, but you also got to think of what's going to make you stand out. What makes you different? And it's really quite easy because a lot of people do not know how to talk to people. A lot of people do not know how to ask people questions. It's really just being a human, treating that person like a human, and asking questions to get to know them without prying. Questions like, what's your favorite color? How many siblings do you have? Those are kind of just stand-up journalistic kind of questions that have such a harshness to it versus kind of letting them tell you about themselves. But a lot of times people want to rush stuff. Why? I don't know. If I am a 31, almost 32-year-old woman that's not rushing stuff, and I have a biological clock that's ticking, why are you, in my head, since I'm on the app to date men, rushing things? It doesn't make sense to me, or does it? Because I'm very smart. So why are you trying to rush? So learn that person, get to know that person. So that's the dating app. Now, also on dating apps, you don't have to give that person your phone number until after you meet them. Mm-hmm. So once you meet them and they haven't given you the phone number, that's when, you need to kind of make that connection. So it keeps it a little bit safe. Now let's go to Instagram, because a lot of people treat Instagram like a dating app. For people like me, it's not a dating app. It's not. In fact, I don't like to meet people off of Instagram. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's an app that a lot of people use to scroll through, to look at what? In my case, women. So if we are dating, you don't think that's in the back of my head and back of my mind? That's how we initially met. So why would I think anything would be different if once we start communicating? You're not going to still go through the fucking app? The fucking app. And look, I have to be secure with myself when I date somebody off of Instagram, because I already know how we met. Yeah. I'm not going to be different. But anyhow, off of Instagram, you have tips for guys, and then I'll go back and say stuff. Off of Instagram or like Facebook, Twitter, or I don't know what other stuff you guys use. TikTok.
I will be honest, I haven't really just shot my shot that much on like Instagram and shit. Like I don't know. I call me old fat. I do like meeting women in person. So I don't know if I just have the best advice when it comes to if you are going to shoot your shot at someone on social media. But my biggest thing, I guess, would just be, I mean, don't just copy and paste what you're sending the one to everybody you follow. I mean, if it's genuinely someone that you follow and you maybe find interesting, then maybe reach out and just try to get to know more about them. Don't just again try to rush and sit there and try to ask about like right off the rip. Maybe just literally just try to get to know them and grow a friendship. If nothing else. I mean, that would be my biggest advice.
So I'm going to keep it real with everybody. Now I'm going to tell you guys some information that you probably don't want to hear. Okay. So with Instagram, you have to again, read the room. You guys see that if you're on my Instagram, it's on a Lefebvre. You see that I use it to plug my podcast. I use it for other things. I use it for a work purpose. Now there's people on there that just use it for dating purposes, but you got to get to know that person to see what their purpose is on there. Now, there are people like the minorities who came on and you know who the minorities are? The group of the two guys, the minorities on YouTube. Okay, we'll go. That's a whole different video. That is a whole different video we're going to talk about. But they come on No Jumper and they're talking about Instagram as a dating app. But on their YouTube, it's known for being wild and talking about dating. So therefore, for them, it is. But for other influencers, oh fuck, I just used that word. No, it came so easy. No, I don't want it. Brother, no, I'm a part of the Instagram world. I've always wanted to stay away. We use it for other purposes. So you have to address the person appropriately. So to get somebody to know somebody in the DMs, first of all, if you DM me and your account's on private, what's the purpose? What's the purpose? I love it when guys come in the DM and they're like, oh, well, friend me. Why? I have 1,000 more people saying to friend me. If I friend 1,000 people in a day, you're going to mess up my whole metric system with Instagram. It's like a huge thing. Like, why? Then they send pictures of themselves to me, which is cool. But how do I know that's you? That's not my problem. You wanted to talk to me. I never said I wanted to talk to you. So you need to go ahead and market yourself in a better way. So don't try to use as a dating thing if your thing's on private. That doesn't make sense to me. But always start with a good conversation. Make sure it's not a sexual conversation. Once you start jumping into that sexual conversation too soon, now you kind of in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, well, I already know what you want. And I ain't about that. Because what makes you different from all the other ones? What makes you different? I don't know. Having another thing that some guys mess up on with me is that we'll be talking and it'll be a nice little conversation, and all of a sudden they're trying to get my phone number. Once again, premature. It's like pre-cum. Don't move too fast.
Wasn't expecting that, but I'm here. I'm rocking.
Okay. So moving too fast freaks me out, and talking sexual freaks me out. You should realize, especially for people that are like me, I don't think there's a lot of females on Instagram that are like me to a sense where I'm talking about sex in an educational manner. Just because I'm talking about an educational manner doesn't mean that you can talk to me about it any kind of way. When I'm on this show, when I'm on another show, when I'm on another platform, I'm on that platform. When I'm off of it, I kind of just want to be Anna. I just want to be Anna from the block. I don't want to be Anna from Love and Lust. I don't want to be Anna, the business owner. So a lot of times it's a little bit too premature. Check your pictures. If you don't know how to take pictures, don't send me a picture of yourself. Because there's quite a few guys that lost their chances with me because of the picture that they sent. And I'm just like I know when a guy is good looking if he takes a bad picture, but if it's like a whole bunch of things that are all wrong with the conversation, immediately no. Immediately. Stop trying to talk to me through long distance and you don't have the money to afford a long distance relationship. Now you're just wasting my time. We can be friends from afar. If we end up in the same city, maybe we grab lunch or coffee. Lunch or coffee, I said that on purpose. you know? What else? Oh, I'm gonna say something that people are gonna get pissed off about. That's fine. I don't care.
That's what we're here for.
Blue checks have it a lot easier. If you have a blue check, if I think you're attractive, if you had a little bit of a good conversation with me, and I'm saying a little bit on purpose, you probably will get my number. Because all the guesswork has gone because I can search you and research you, and my friends can all research you as well. So we've already skipped the discovery phase. I was talking to somebody with a blue check, and I was like, hold please, I need to research this about you. I'm very open and honest. But that's really the way to treat Instagram is treat people like friends first and then come back and then ask them for their number. Try to get to know them at first, because I had someone tell me like, oh, you should come here. I want to like take care, like it was kind of a little greasy, but he was like, I want to take care of you. You should come here, blah, blah. I want you to be mine, blah, blah. But I'm like, how is that supposed to work? Well, I don't know you. I was like, first off, I could be crazy. I could be the one that you need to watch out for. How do you not know this? So you said you're more old fashioned. You like to meet girls, face to face, which I actually do prefer meeting people face to face. That's most of my. I'm just kidding. Most of the people I've talked to, I've already known. Like I knew face to face. There's barely anybody I've ever talked to that I just, met, whatever. So how do you suggest to people to talk to a female to get her number when you see her face to face?
Good question. Now, is there already a rapport built up, as in maybe you were already talking on Facebook, or you
Nope.
just walking up to her?
It's just pre-COVID style. She's at a bar, not like a club, but like a bar. You see a pretty girl that you're attracted to. What do you do?
Man, you trying to make me put my game plan out there. I will be honest. One of my biggest things is I like to make girls laugh, and I mean, in whatever way, really, mostly just joking around, because I have my little, my little sayings that that get a little smirk or anything like that. But it's mainly more so just to kind of loosen up, because I mean, obviously, there's going to be a little bit of nerves when you're approaching a girl, or vice versa. If the girl's approaching a guy, there's going to be some kind of nerves, even if it's just a tiny little bit. And you get them laughing, it kind of loosens it up, and you just have a genuine conversation. That's typically what's worked for me. So
nice.
That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I used to get real nervous. I don't get nervous anymore at all. But I never approached a guy. I don't have to. That's what I'm saying. You have to learn to read the room and see what makes you different. And if you have a problem with that, then you need to approach a girl that you don't have a problem with that with. Yeah. That just because everyone's not for everyone. And I say this over and over. So my thing is to have a good conversation, and then towards the end, ask for the number. Don't ask for the Instagram, because that's one thing I don't like. I don't like when people ask me for my social media, because I don't want you to know me from my social media. My social media isn't about me. It's about comedy. It's about love and lust. It's about, so ask them for their phone number, because that's actually the ultimate goal. Don't start with the and why am I saying Facebook? Like I'm in my 40s. why am I baby boomer right now? 50s. So yeah, it's just
I know
making sure
that.
they're comfortable, making sure you guys have something in common, because if you don't have anything in common, then what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm real huge on conversation, and I know one thing that's almost a pet peeve of mine. That's an instant turn off. That's probably gonna just I'll probably just kind of back away is if I am having a conversation with a girl and then maybe I do ask her for a number and she's like, "Oh, what's your Snapchat? Are you on this?" I'm like, why? What's the point? I hate that, and that happens a lot, especially with younger girls. I'll say that.
Safety. Sometimes it is safety. Sometimes you
Yeah.
don't want them to have the phone number. But if you don't want them to have your phone number, then maybe you shouldn't be giving it to them anyhow. And they're trying to not let you down like completely. They're trying to not make the situation weird, because a lot of people can't handle rejection. And if
Yeah.
you can't handle rejection, then you have no business asking that person for her phone number. That's why girls lie about, oh, I have a boyfriend. No, I'm not saying that. No, I just don't like you. Fuck you and your feelings. The fuck? Get out of here. But no, it's a thing though. Why do
Mhm.
I have to make you feel better? I never asked for this. I
It
never
is.
asked for you to come up,
And I never want a girl to sugarcoat anything. If you're not interested, I'd much rather you just be like, hey, because I know how to come at a woman respectfully. So I don't have a problem with if I come at you respectfully and I'm like, hey, can I get your number, this and that, whatever.
Mhm.
And you're like, I'm sorry, I'm not really interested. Cool. I have no issue with that. I've never heard a a pissy response or however you want to say it,
Mhm.
when a girl catches the attitude. I've never heard that because I know how to come at a girl respectfully. A lot of guys don't. And then whenever they get turned down, then it's, oh, she ugly, this and that. I'm like, well, she wasn't ugly 5 minutes ago when you were trying to talk to her. So I
But
don't
the
get that.
thing, the thing is, if you guys had a good conversation, if you had a good conversation, then you ask for the number, even if she's not feeling you, you guys could still be friends,
Mhm.
you know? So you can ask this information and you can still be friends. And if, there's not a romantic thing, what's the problem? It saves you so much time. I don't get
Mhm.
the problem. Okay, so you do all this, you get the number, doot, and you still fuck up because you don't know how to text. You got all this hard part out the way, but you're about to fuck up because you just don't know how to text and communicate. I was speaking some bozo the clown. That's a whole nother subject. He was like, "Oh, I don't like. I hate texting." I was like, because you're old." I'm being so shady. I was like, "That's because you're old. So pick somebody." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What age range do you date?" He was like 28 to 50. He's 60. So, so in my head,
Well,
I'm just
that's
like,
not gonna
okay, okay.
that's not
I
gonna
was like,
float your boat, buddy.
I was like, then you have no business dating a 28-year-old because they abide by text messages. They might even do that whole FaceTime crap that I don't even do. I will sit there and watch FaceTime fly by. If you don't make an appointment with me, that is not happening. Okay? I got other shit to do. And you're gonna try to hold my phone up. That's not happening. But anyhow, I was like, you need to date within your age range, because I know a lot of 40-year-olds that don't like text messaging. I know 50-year-olds that don't like text messaging. So you have to find somebody that you can communicate with, and it's your communication style, right? So make sure that's appropriate. If you're dating a younger person, know that, they go by a different set of rules, and you have to be, if you like younger people, which is no problem. I like younger men too, ain't no problem over here. I'm a baby panther. Oh, you guys miss me. Hello, welcome back.
I ain't
That's
saying
not a
nothing.
problem, but you got to make sure that you are meeting them halfway and
Mhm.
not making them feel like they're dumb or insecure or whatever, because it's not your style. Okay. I was watching something that was giving the worst advice about how to text women, and he was saying to not double text. Double texting makes you look so like insecure. You better double text me. If I did not respond, again, I'm a different type of person. I'm very busy. I wake up to 20 text messages. I have 200 emails easily during a day. So what happens is I might actually see your text and accidentally forget to not respond, or I might be on my line. I might miss it somehow because I'm always doing stuff for other clients for social media and everything. I might accidentally miss it. So the confidence that you bring with double texting me is like, oh, cool. So you're actually serious about this. I don't see a problem. If I like you, I'm gonna double text you too.
I don't either because it's number one. It shows a certain amount of effort, and you use the word confidence. I get that because it's like you know it goes back to the whole rapport thing. If it's reached a level where I know maybe there's something kind of mutual between us to where we both like talking to each other, I don't have a problem double texting you if I want to talk to you. Like if that makes me a simp, then I'm just gonna be a simp. Then. I
It's
mean,
the confidence though. If you are a confident person, it doesn't matter. I've had one of my exes he hit me up on Snap, didn't respond because I was sleeping. Then he started texting me. I was still sleeping. Then he started calling my phone. I picked up and I was like, oh shit. And I saw all this. I was like, aw. I thought that was really cute. And look, I still remember it because I thought it was really cute. Like, you don't care. You're just trying to reach me. It's the confidence. If you are not confident, if you're an insecure person double texting, then it shows. But if you're a confident person and stand for what you stand for, then it doesn't matter. Um, Another thing that I would say is have a rhythm with your texting. Um, I know it's that stupid game playing thing about, oh, if they take all this time to text me back, then I'm gonna take all this time to text them back. Don't do that. People like me, I'm done. I'm out. Who are you? I'm sorry. Excuse me. Experiment 315. Like who?
no,
Like I. If we
I'm
don't
grown.
have if we don't have a great rapport, this is completely different from you being in a relationship or being in the beginning of a relationship with someone. This is the beginning stages of communicating and having a relationship with a new person. Yeah, like I said, I'm grown. So I don't need that. I don't need inconsistency. I don't need someone that's not stable. I don't need someone who's insecure. It's not going to work out with me. I'm wasting my time. Um, Texting after you hang out. I think it's important. Do not wait. If you like that person and that person leaves you and it's 5 minutes gone by and you want to text them and say, hey, I had a great time, as long as it's not something that's like super just like making that person feel like they owe you something. If it's just like, hey, I had a great time, can't wait to see you again, what's wrong with that? 5 minutes afterwards, that's awesome. That's going to make me remember you and who you are. Because a lot of times nowadays we're dating multiple people at one time, which it's not like I'm against that, but I'm not saying that you should have to compete. That's not what I'm saying. It's just stand out. It's really easy nowadays to stand out because a lot of people are so insecure in who they are and what they stand for. So, um, careful of the late night texting though. That's what I want to say. Because if you are trying to have a relationship that goes towards something, just be careful of late night texting. You don't want it to go to a whole different way because for some reason it seems like when you go that way, it's hard to pull it back from that way. And you might have ruined a good thing just because you can't control yourself. If you're
Goes
late
back
night
to
texting, just talk about regular human stuff.
goes back to rapport again. What level have you guys gotten to as far as your conversations and topics that you have talked about and what have you gotten to know about this person? It always goes back to rapport at the end of the day.
Women put men in brackets too. Like they say, men put women in brackets. Is that true? Men will be like, okay, that's just someone I can sleep with versus, oh, that's someone that I
Mm-hmm.
can build something with. Okay, so you're saying that's true.
Yep.
We do that too, though. But the problem with us and the way that we do it is that we are taught that marriage is the ultimate goal. So we're still going to try because we don't want to lose somebody. We don't want to have our numbers, if we're already at that sexual phase, we don't want to have our numbers go up. So we're still going to try with that person and make sure that our intuition is correct, or try to prove our intuition is wrong at the same time. So we put men in brackets, and if I, if I don't see any future with you, to the left, to the left. I might still talk to you, but your ass in the bracket to the left.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's how it is. You have, those ones that you could maybe see something with. You got those ones that when you're bored and you just want to talk to somebody.
The host.
You got the ones that you might,
the host.
You're regular, your go-to, that they're always gonna answer.
And you're in a group text. I'm like, yeah, he's a hoe. So he goes over there. We do the same thing. We just don't talk about it. What else? Texting in paragraphs, though, is one thing that, yeah, unless you guys have like a great rapport, if you send me a text in a paragraph, I probably didn't read it. I'm probably not going to read it. I'm gonna just read the first sentence, maybe the last sentence, and then call it a quits. And if I feel like you're just a little too dramatic, then that's when I'm gonna have to start missing the phone calls.
I would probably have to really be really be invested to send you a paragraph. It would almost have to be like some serious feelings, and then it would just be one of them, a paragraph of like how much you mean to me, that kind of shit. So, but again, that would be it's levels to it.
But you have to be friends. Because if I have friends that send me a paragraph, I know something is important, so I'm going to read it. Like, you send me a paragraph, I'm probably going to read it. I'm going to read it.
Probably.
Whoops.
I can't imagine what if I send you a paragraph, what it would be though.
Exactly. Because we know each other's communication style. You already know that she ain't gonna read that shit.
And you have to send me like 6 or 7 text messages, and I'll be like one line.
That's how I text. And if you have a problem with it, then you're not for me. I know people are like, don't text like that. First off, you know why I text like that? First off, my brain sometimes I just go. I like to not manipulate situations. And I feel like sometimes you put a whole thing in a paragraph and you go back and you read it and you read it and you read it. And now you're like changing words for that person to think the way that you're thinking. It's kind of manipulative. So I send text like that because I'm trying to get you, like, I want your opinion. I don't want to tell you what to think, because it's really easy for me to tell somebody what to think. And I hate that, just because I know how to communicate, just because I know certain things in sociology and psychology that I can use to make somebody think the way that I want them to think. So that's why I text like that. And if people have a problem with it, I've had people call me out. I was like, guess what? I just won't text you ever again. And if I don't text you, we're not communicating, because I don't have time to be on the phone with somebody when I have clients calling me, when I have things I have to do for, work. So, but yeah, do you have any other tips for what annoys you besides my one-line text? I'm just kidding.
Doesn't annoy me. It's just, I'm very perceptive, so it's something I've noticed.
I do that. I'm a Gemini.
I'm trying to be a little bit better about it, especially when I'm initially talking to somebody, but I really hate small talk. I really hate it. I'm trying to be a little bit more, I guess, patient. Again, I'm a Sagittarius. Patience is not my strong suit. But when it's, in the initial stages of talking to somebody, I try to be a little bit more patient. But it does get a little annoying if a girl maybe texts me, hey, how are you doing today? And I'm like, I'm doing good. How about yourself? And she's just like, I'm all right. And then,
well, see, some people don't know how to text.
I get that. And that's another reason. That's another part of me. I'm trying to be a little bit more patient with
okay, so one of my downfalls with texting is I say LOL a lot. Okay, so I'm letting everybody know I communicate online for a living. Been communicating online for a living for a very long time. I know that I need to bring context to the room when you're texting, when you're writing emails. So I write LOL a lot, because I want you to know that I thought what you said was kind of funny, was, chuckle, funny. Because Sometimes people don't write double-ended sentences. Just like how she said all right or whatever. That's not a double-ended, what do you call it? Double-ending sentence where it should have been like, I'm all right. How are you doing today? What do you got up to, today? That's something that's very like, you know, you don't have to tell her everything about your life, but it's still letting you answer a question so you can
Yeah.
have a constant communication. I will honestly, and I ain't right, but this is just how I am. I will end a conversation on purpose.
I've done it before.
Just to see what you do. Because if I feel like because I know how to communicate, if I'm the one that's, um, moving this conversation along and doing all the work, I want to see if you can do some of the work. Because
Yeah.
if you can't, then it's a one-sided thing. But my LOLs confuse people, and I always have to tell them, like, I'm trying to tell you that it's not an ending. Because somebody said like every time you write LOL, I think it's the end of the conversation. I'm like, did I say it was the L? Did I put a period after the LOL? Like, how is that the end? I could just not answer because you didn't ask me a question or anything. But small talk, I'm pretty good at. Some people, like I was saying, they don't know how to communicate. So I kind of like get in there and I'm like, oh, so how's this? What is this? And then it also helps that I'm funny. So I can like, joke a lot about certain things, and that can be a whole entire conversation into itself. But I would, if someone's very dry, it's just because maybe they're very dry with texting. But if you actually like the person, now if you don't like the person, then what it is what it is. But if you actually like the person, just try to pull it out a little bit more.
If I'm, and that's the part that I'm getting better at. If I'm genuinely interested in you, and that's the flow of the conversation. She says, "Hey, how are you doing?" I say, "I'm good. How about you?" She says, "I'm all right." I'd be like, I might be like, "Oh, well, what are you up to today?" Or is there anything you want to talk about? But again, but depending on the rapport, if she just says, "I'm all right," I might be like, anything going on, something like that. But if I'm genuinely interested, I'll do what I can to keep the conversation going. Now, if it keeps, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a constant thing, then I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm not gonna keep doing this.
No,
So,
not at all.
because I
And
mean,
then
I get it. Sometimes people have bad days where they're just like, I'm cool. I've been
yeah.
better. But if it's a constant thing, after a while, I'm just gonna be like, all right, well, I'm all right too. So,
And don't expect, like, I hate that thing when people are like, oh, the way they text you back or how quickly really says something about you. No, because I get busy
mhm.
and I have to stay focused. When I'm doing certain projects, I don't have my phone on me. I stay just very focused and I only speak to maybe 2 or 3 people that are pertinent to that project that I'm doing. Because if I don't stay focused, then it's going to take me a lot longer to get this, project accomplished. So you really have to learn that person. You have to. And if that's, and the thing is, the reason why a lot of people don't know how to talk to people is because they rush stuff. They don't go through the process of talking to someone. They don't go through the process, and even if that person doesn't work out, they never were able to, quote unquote, it's a experiment with that person because they're just trying to rush stuff. My favorite thing before we get out of here, um, my favorite thing is when a guy tries to talk to me. I give him a little bit of attention. Then I'm like, okay, maybe I am a little bit interested. Then they want me to do something. And I'm just like, that's not the way that works, buddy. You're the one that asked me or trying to talk to me, so you need to continue to ask me out. That's weird. Why would I do that? Or it's like, oh, I've been putting all this effort in. No shit, because I didn't know who you were 2 days ago, but you know
and
who I
that's
was.
and that's a huge problem when it comes to guys, because it happens in different stages of relationships all the time. When a guy is pursuing a girl, he's gonna throw out everything and put all of this effort in, and then when he gets her, he stops doing everything he was doing to try to get her. And I'm like, whatever level it is that you're trying to, to connect with somebody, the real work starts once they actually come around. That's when, you really got to kick it into high gear. So I've never understood that. I mean, I understand it. It's this entitlement crap, but I don't understand
It's
it
just
at the
like,
same
okay,
time.
so you get my attention, then you ask me out, but you don't ask me out on a specific day. You don't ask me out at a specific time, the place, whatever. So now I'm asking you out. It don't work that way with me. It don't work that way. So what if I ask you out, and I feel like if I ask somebody out, then I might have to pay for it. I ain't doing that. I'm sorry. I don't care what you think. If you think that's the way it's supposed to be, then I'm not for you at all. Don't waste your time because it's not going to work out. I'm not asking a dude out. I'm not paying for a meal. Don't care what you think about it. That's just how I am. That's who I am. So if, like I said, everyone's not for you. Like that one last thing before we leave. I posted a video the other day, and this girl, she definitely looked like a Generation X person. It was the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. And she was like, "Oh, if he pays for lunch, I'm gonna pay for dinner." I have to get this wording right. If he pays for lunch, I'm gonna pay for dinner. If he buys the popcorn, I buy the movie tickets. Um, if he buys me, what it was, if
I
he
feel
buys
like
me,
I've seen this before
if
somewhere.
he buys me shoes, I'm gonna buy him a suit. Okay, so the thing was about it, and the men weren't understanding. Everything she said was way more expensive than what he said. So I don't know if it was like a joke or something, but then I posted and no one answered. No one answered. There was thousands of people that saw this on my Instagram because I looked at the number. No one answered my question of, so who runs the relationship? Who's in charge? Because a lot of men want to act like they're men and they want to be charged. They want to act like alphas. But then when it comes down to it, they want to talk about this 50-50 shit. So the 50-50 thing is cool. It's cool. But are you still the alpha, the omega? The let me just stop. But what they didn't understand is that everything she kept freaking saying was her paying for more. Like, you pay for popcorn, I pay for the movie tickets. That's way more. You buy me shoes, unless you're buying like some like fancy shoes and I buy you a suit, that's way more. So I was just like, I don't know that. I am never saying to not pay for something for somebody because if I like you, I will be paying for a lot. I will be paying for a lot. I have spent thousands and thousands of money on the person that I was interested at the time. And I don't ask for anything. I'm very self-sufficient. So that's not the point. It's the point of who's running the relationship. Because if I'm paying for more, you better believe you get to that house, your ass is mine. Okay? I run the relationship. I'm just kidding. And on that note, you have anything else to say, Paul?
Uh, do things because you want to, not because you feel like you owe the other person.
Or somebody told you that you need to do it.
I hate the sense of entitlement that I did this for her, so she's got to do this for me. No. Anytime I do something for somebody, because it's almost like you're counting favors. Anytime I do something for somebody, I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because I'm expecting anything in return. And I'm almost like you. I don't ask anybody for anything. I almost don't even like it when people do things for me because I don't know. That's just the way I am. But I mean, if somebody does something for me, cool. But don't do it for me because you're expecting me to do something for you in return.
That's what it is. It's not that you don't like people doing something for you. It's just that you never had good experience when somebody does something for you, then they don't, reciprocate or they expect something for you. It's always like I did this, so what you gonna do for me type of thing. And it could be like now or it could be later. It's just people just need to be more genuine and stop doing the cookie cutter thing and just be adults. Grow some confidence, get some self-esteem. And if you don't have those, work on those before you start dating.
That's what the alone time is for. Learn how to be alone, and those type of things will come.
Well, people, my name is Anna Lefebvre. You can catch me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Somebody asked me for my Facebook the other day. I was like, how old are you? Make sure you catch my show, my podcast, my baby, Love and Lust. You can catch it on Spotify or even just here on YouTube. Paul, over to you.
Same, Paul P. Mac Chambers, 1/2 of the Thundercats. Again, I know you love it when I shout out He-Man, so I'm going to do that. We are indeed back. We are back from vacation. We will be back this weekend. So, yeah. Welcome to the Forever Podcast. We'll be back.
Bye, guys. Have a wonderful day.